Bros are back. Solver Series 1.03, third in the series here, Nez. Been fun and well received thus far. This one we're recording a little bit early, and we're going to drop it a little bit early for the people because it is Independence Day tomorrow there. So we're going to have this up for the members for some Independence Day viewing there. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get connected to some Bluetooth speakers on at people's cookouts at barbecues, and hey, I got something. This is a real banger. You want fireworks? Listen to these yahoos draft the best ball team. You guys are gonna love it. You guys are gonna love it. Now watch me light this M80.
Cousin Steve at backyard barbecues all over the place is going to be like, y'all using the solver? I've been hearing about that. I've been hearing about that.
That's the hope.
Good. That's good. Nez, we've been kind of doing like a little bit of slow draft functionality. Obviously, they added the ability to utilize the slow draft functionality across multiple contests last time, so we showcased that. We've been doing a little bit of the Best Ball Explorer stuff, and we showed a little bit of our portfolios. We'll do a deep dive on that probably next week or the week after when Nez and I wrap up a bunch of slows, which would probably be about doubling my sample. I don't know what it would be for you, Nez, but I think
Close to that.
yeah. So I think that'd be a really good, reevaluation kind of window for both of us there. So that'll be cool to do. But for today, we had some big news in football over the week. There we had the trade with Jonnu Smith. We've talked about it a couple times on our program, but I just wanted to bring up the Best Ball Explorer tool here to visualize some of those ADP changes because in years past we were, talking about these things through the lens of speculation, right? We were like, we know, oh, ADP will probably react this way, probably react that way. And it was all very speculative. Now we have like concrete, actionable graphics at every isolated window throughout this process to see how things have been fluctuated and see how they'll fluctuate in the future here. So I'm going to bring that one up. It was a trade involving your Steelers there, Nez. But we'll start with the Miami side first. So what I have pulled up for the people here in the Best Ball Explorer is the player ADP tool. And what I've done is I've gone to the ADP visualization. I have then added the 4 most impactful players on the Miami side. I left Johnny as part of the Miami side just for visual sake there. And then we can jump between the windows of time in which ADP has changed. So in the last week here, Nez, we could see a slight uptick to Waddle, HN, Tyreek Hill, and then the out of nowhere RKO of Darren Waller from obscurity relevancy to now being drafted in the 18th round there. And then you can see the fall off of Jonnu Smith here in terms of 13.5 spots. Just kind of like thoughts macro on it all.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to like get the visualization of it. I don't know that we're going to get too much of a rise on these Dolphins because of this trade specifically. I think this residual bump is about as much as you'll see. I think there's still a lot of question marks as far as what what the future holds for Miami. I think for any further ADP movement, we're just going to need to see camp news or get some good coach speak, things of that nature. I think for these Miami guys to go up any higher, other than Waller. Waller obviously still has, I think, a ways to go. I fully anticipate a slight overreaction by the field on Darren Waller because, people draft Tua every single time. He's an easy stack option. People draft Tampa Bay. A lot of Tampa Bay pieces. People are going to want to do a week 17 stack with Darren Waller. Like he's the last Miami piece off the board. So we'll see a pretty big rise in Waller. I don't think that him and Johnny will ever cross paths, but what do you think? Do you think it ever gets that crazy?
No, I think it's name value and name recognition, and with like Darren Waller more than anything else, where it's like this is not Noah Fant moving there in a potential trade agreement. This is like a guy that we've seen have some very successful fantasy seasons. But I think he's been an outlier for the large majority of his career in stuff of the personal stuff that he conquered and now coming out of retirement to conquer this and his rap career and stuff like this. So he does seem like a dude who is so public and forward facing that he's going to get more steam than just Joe Schmo guy who retired and came out of retirement. I can't even think of a good comp for that scenario of a mid-tier guy. Like obviously Gronk comes to mind, but
Mhm.
like I'm trying to think of like a mid-tier guy who was like, yeah, I got one more year of tight end. Maybe like not like a retirement one, but maybe like a Jimmy Graham in Seattle versus like the Swan Song tour in New Orleans after that.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a
Uh,
decent comp. Um,
yeah.
at any rate, I do expect a further rise of Darren Waller. So I am taking a share here and there, 17th, 18th round in my slow drafts, just because it's fun. Just get a few here and there, and just because obviously I'm predicting some ADP movement, so I'm hoping to get some value at some point.
Yeah, the time box contest, it makes sense because he's basically he is definitively completely unowned. So if you do have some like Tua stacks going in your slow drafts in like the Schnauzer 2 and you got 3 picks left, well, why not just tack them on with the last one as a leverage piece there? Nez, one thing I wanted to illustrate here is we can isolate the chart by week. So this is obviously the week in which it occurred. But if we go back a month, man, these macro changes were already happening. Like obviously the Waller one is just most recent, so like we could go ahead and just even take Waller out of this sample, but these macro changes have been happening for like a long time. They're not that far off. Like Waddle was steadily rising, HN was rising, and Tyreek was rising as Johnny was falling. So I mean, nothing too crazy when you just look at the quote unquote overreaction window versus the elongated timeline. It looks more or less the same.
Yeah, I think truly the Johnu slide begins at the trade rumors, right? Like as soon
Yeah.
as the trade rumors started to heat up, people started to get a little more cautious, and that's when the fade really started to hit.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. That's kind of in this like 531, 601 kind of area, like that June 1st window, and then just kind of starts moving down from there. Yeah, good shout on that one. Nez, I do have the Steelers stuff pulled up as well. Not a ton of movement here yet. We've seen Fryermuth fall 17 spots over the last little bit here. Calvin Austin becoming a little bit less intriguing as a late round, early 17, late 18 kind of pick there. The Rodgers stuff is pretty flat over the last like 7 days there because it's kind of solidified itself in that Sam Darnold kind of range. But over the last 4 weeks, if you pivot that, then you see that big rise in Aaron Rodgers, this dark blue line here where he kind of officially signed and then came back into our lives. Immediate reaction to the John O deal here and kind of where some of these should settle in.
Yeah, I just don't think Muth is. Maybe Muth falls to a point where he's out of the top 18 rounds. That would be appropriate, in my opinion. I don't want any Fryermuth in best ball from this point forward. Personally, Calvin Austin I still think remains a decent mix in round 18, but you're rarely week 18 stacking his game, and you're rarely back stacking Rodgers. So it's kind of like, he's really easy to like not get to, but I still think he's a fine piece. Like until further notice, I think he is like for sure the wide receiver too.
Okay. Yeah. No, I believe you on that for sure. It's just like whether this is an offense or archetype of player in which we want to bet on. And that's
Yeah.
what you kind of just alluded to and ironed out there that perhaps not. Perhaps not.
Not really.
Yeah, very cool visualization tool. You can do this by mixing and matching any set of players. They don't all have to be on the same team. We just chose to do it that way. If you wanted to just, go ahead and just look at Fryermuth plus Jonnu, we could just check out the slide in both of them, put them both in there, and then we get a graph that looks similar to my daily baseball results from this week there, Nez. But
Perfect slope.
yeah, just perfect slope. But just wanted to demonstrate that for everybody. You can also look at it in the context of your own team and see, what kind of CLV you've encapsulated relative to ADP by using this upload function on the left-hand side there. You simply go to your underdog completed drafts tab over here. You then go to the season. You email yourself this exposure CSV, and then there's step-by-step instructions on the screen in the Best Ball Explorer to just drag and drop and upload those. So simple that even I could figure it out, Nez.
Yeah, love it, man. Gonna be playing around with this quite a bit this summer.
Very much so. Nez, let's rip a couple slow draft picks here, just because I'm going to get caught on the clock if I don't do otherwise there when we are in midst of a fast draft. And we've had some really nice feedback on the slow draft stuff because we are so accustomed to basically only doing fast drafts on our program. People do really like seeing and hearing us like kind of deep dive one isolated pick or something. So maybe we can rip off just I'm good after this 3 hour mark for our next amount of shows. So maybe we just rip these quick 4 picks here and see where we end up.
Yeah. I mean, right off the rip, man, this Jack Beshfall, I think is A-okay.
All right.
Let's look at the running backs here. You do have pretty solid running backs. I meant like your own, sorry. You do,
sorry.
Yeah, you do look like you have a solid running back room right here.
Just a
like
classic,
you could even
a classic John Dusty old room here. Kyren, then the Brees swing, then the Walker and Kamara. Oh, let's run it back with the olds of last year narrative.
Why not? I mean, it's a good room. You could easily stop at 4. I mean, two pretty decent quarterbacks stacked up here. I like your wide receiver room too. You might as well kind of take an upside shot at another rookie here. You added Trey Harris for the stack. Very nice. We have, Dusty Vet Cup, who you never know could outperform. But
yeah,
this Beshfall, I think, is right, man. I know I was quick to talk shit on Besh, but he's fallen quite a bit to the point where like I think he's where he should be. And this is just a bridge too far, 10 picks past ADP.
All right, cool. We get another rookie shot amongst a strong room here, so we can go ahead and put that one in there. Also gives us an out at Geno later if we wanted to add a third quarterback in this one. Next one, they're suggesting Kyle Pitts, my friend. Kyle Pitts with some Drake London stuff there. We could also do that aforementioned Geno if you think this room needs a third quarterback, and then take some tight end stuff later. Trying to think about some potential tight end risers in this window. Interesting to note, as you guys can see, I got the ETR ranks toggled on right now. I've been finding that very useful instead of drag and drop a million CSVs into multiple contests stuff for rankings purposes. Just toggling that on and off has had the same effect for me.
Yeah, that is a very underrated feature. It's like having 2 set of ranks in.
Yeah, exactly. Nez, how would we do this? Do we do the Kyle Pitts with the Drake London thing? Do we tack on Geno for some 16 plus another skinny stack and no bye week overlap? Do we take a last running back to round out the room?
What ADP is Sam Darnold? I think he's a better fit for this team than Geno.
Okay. Sam Darnold is ADP 180.
Okay.
So we would definitely have a chance at it at the next go round pick.
Yeah. I don't know if the what the JSN drafter looks like, but I think you could probably push it.
Okay.
But with Walker and Cup on this team, I do think that he's a nice pick. And honestly, if you did want to reach, I don't even think it's that crazy, just based on the team that you have.
Okay.
But
let's try and push it, and let's address the tight end position in the non Kyle Pitts fashion, and do a week 17 correlation of Brenton Strange.
That's what I would say. I prefer Strange to Kyle Pitts.
What a time to be alive, eh?
I know.
Pull up the playoff matchup widget real quick there. Make sure we're good. Draft capital, lowest at tight end by a good margin here. We've already exceeded that running back one, so you are right. We could stop at 4 there. So let's go ahead. Add Strange to that one. We got a Schnauzer 2 on the clock here. Nez telling us Jalen Noel is a good pick here. Telling us Michael Wilson is a good pick here. Current build is a 2-4-6-3 there. Another strong running back room here with the top end. Gonna definitely need to add a 4th here, but just thoughts here.
Yeah, I definitely think running back here. Let's look at the wide receivers real quick. Yeah, so you got Devontae. I'm sorry, when I say that I mean yours. Devontae, add DJ Moore, Waddle, Olave, Jacoby, Ayuk. So like, if we think Ayuk's gonna miss time, maybe wide receiver. But I would say wide receiver or running back here. I like the quarterbacks that you have.
Okay, cool. I think I like the suggestion from the solver. Take a little bit of a Jalen Noel fall here, and just tack it on to the situation. You get another rookie shot. You get a 16-week correlation there, which plays a little less important in the schnauzers than like BBM, for instance. But
Mhm.
I like the suggestion here.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. Best player available. Why not?
Yeah, let's do that one. Pitbull here. We're gonna flip to the other side of the board. I had queued up Achan apparently. John was trying to get ahead of that one. I think you're gonna tell me to take the big dog though, aren't you?
I have been team big dog, but I think Achan is like a fair veto. I'm honestly Henry and Achan over Genti right now, which like I maybe I'll change as I get closer to August and I get FOMO,
Uh-huh.
but I feel more confident in those two right now. Maybe Achan a bridge too far, but I do prefer Henry or Achan here for sure. But you clearly past John wanted Achan here, and you will not be denied. And it is a pitbull. This is not a, it's only you only get 10 of these.
This is a good point. It is a time box contest. I only get 10 of them. I clearly had a plan in the past there. The solver doesn't fully agree with my plan, but maybe that was because this was a little Canada Day wobbly pops queue up potentially. Eh?
That's what I'm chalking it up to.
um, we got one for the sprint here. As we mentioned before, functionality has been incorporated for the sprint there. Going to sort by ADP there. Jaden, I almost said McDaniels. Always a little pump fake on the T Wolves. Good UW boy. Jaden Daniels here. Michael Penix, kind of a weaker wide receiver or running back room comparatively there with Chuba and Aaron Jones, Etienne and Ramondre. Pretty strong running or wide receiver room here. This one has a Jonnu share on it at ADP. That one's not going to age so greatly. Yeah, the solver's thinking potentially wide receiver here. I kind of like the idea of Braylon Allen with some 17. That's another suggestion. Yeah, what do you like?
I'm thinking, let's see here. So I think in a vacuum, I prefer Jarquez Hunter to Braylon Allen.
Ooh, that's spicy. Okay.
Yeah, just
I'm cool
because
with it.
yeah. Hunter, I think very skilled player, tested really well at the combine. And I think, if both of these guys had injuries to the players ahead of them, then I think Hunter would probably fare better just based on what we've seen so far. Braylon Allen, I think, kind of tricked us. The more people kind of dive into his data from last year, the less excited I am about him. He just kind of like he looked awesome because he's big and fast, but
Yeah.
didn't do a lot with his opportunities. So I think we take a little bit of the mystery box with Jarquez Hunter. And
Okay,
you still
cool.
get
Yeah.
correlation. It's still week 17 correlated for you.
Yeah, good shout. I think my peanut sized brain goes big, fast, really young. Go Burr. Like that's
Number
that's
zero.
what, yeah, number zero. Oh my god,
He's got it all.
he's got everything working for him, dude. Actually, sidebar conversation about the number zero. Did you realize that all three guys who tore their Achilles? I did not know that. That's oh man, there were some dark jokes going around the interwebs there about zero Achilles with all those Hallie and Tatum and Dame. Oh man. Nez, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hop us in a fast draft. I have one pit bull left, but that might be a little bit harder to fill than BBM 22nd. I'm going to try. If it does not work, then maybe we pivot to single entry Corgi might be fun because we did do BBM last time. There's 4 more spots for this. We could throw out, I'm going to throw out a bat signal and I'm going to go back to us drafting slow drafts for the meantime. If it does not fill, we will pivot to the Corgi or the BBM. Okay.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. Did you throw out a bat signal or should I?
I did throw out one. You can throw out another.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Bad radio. Okay, I will keep this open at the base here. Just 3 more spots for that one. Okay. I have faith in this situation. This one, Nez, another Schnauzer 2. So getting the low stakes stuff out of the way. A 2.562, pretty balanced thus far. Baker and CJ might want to consider another quarterback there.
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting. Baker's like an interesting amount of draft capital. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
Yeah.
he's like that middle tier where he could be 2 if you really want to make the bet. Could be 3 because, it's Baker, but okay, let's see what else you got going on.
We got Brees Pacheco. We got another Travis Etienne share apparently. The Scata Boys mount up and Jadon Blue. We got that Nico stack. We got that Baker double. We're playing the hits out here.
Okay.
Yeah, Amon Ra.
Nice
and
team.
then we could be done at tight end too with Njoku and Ferg. So yeah. Solver suggesting Michael Wilson just as a rankings value play. Cade Otton stacks as well if we wanted a third tight end, but our room is decently strong. What do you like?
I think I lean Cade Otton.
Okay.
Just because, I just think it makes sense. Obviously, right? It's stacked up, and it's just a huge final swing on the offense, right? It'd be the third correlated piece of this offense. We have Jalen Waddle for the 17 run back, and I think you can. This is a bit of a luxury pick for you. I think the only other thing that I could maybe say here, man, is do you want to take a Miles Sanders here or a running back? I think you could use another running back, but your wide receiver room, I think you did an excellent job of drafting that, and I don't even know that you need a 7th. But Michael Wilson's not a bad pick.
Oh, now I feel all good, buddy. Now I feel all good inside. I think in my mind, I would always land this plane. Not always, but I think I would land this plane as a 6-7-3, probably with at least one more running back. Yeah, no, but I like this Cade Otton play. The Cade Otton play makes too much sense. We've already made the bet of Bucks go Burr, and then we already got that 17 run back in Waddle. Why not just cover all of our outs now, and then we can take some potential, ceiling dart running back, ceiling dart tack on wide receiver with the last pick.
Yeah, I think that Otton pick solidifies the lack of need for third quarterback, right? Because you're just bet on Baker is just out of this world. Yeah,
well said. Nez, by the looks of it, we filled that pit bull with just one slow draft pick. Perfect. We are going to be in this draft. We are going to be on this clock, and we are going to be good to go. When your mind goes to a time box contest like the pit bull, I can bring up the information associated with it here with this 2 out of 12, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 5, and then a 1-5-6 in the finals there. When we're setting up our solver alongside this, what are we putting some of the importance weighted towards?
I think I am definitely, caring the most about week 17, 1 out of 5 to week 16. I don't need to put a lot of emphasis on that week, in my opinion. I think we care way more about just that week 17 and stacking. I think is really the main priority for us.
Okay. So I'm adjusting the stuff on the side here. You guys have seen that before and whatnot. I'm in the window view opposed to the other one. What I did was I moved week 17 importance to high. I moved week 16 importance down to low/medium. And I moved week 15 importance down to low. Any positional designation? I have it 3-6-9-3 right now. Oh, we're on the clock.
That's fine.
Okay. We can mess around in a second here, Nez. We're back up on the clock here. Dude, I think we got to do it.
We're Nico guys, dude.
We're Nico guys, man. I know that ETR loves Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know that they just had a series the other day talking about, the offenses agnostic to talent, and they docked the Lions a little bit, but not fully after Ben Johnson kind of going there and stuff.
hmm
They were really down on the Texans environment as a whole. We kind of like just grown ass man Nico season right now.
I kind of simplify my process in that way, where it's just Nico go Burr.
Here's the new alpha, Nez. This guy started, MD Sports Fan started exactly as we started, that slow. I think we should come back with this Derrick Henry that you like.
I'm cool with it, man. You're just another drop in my, Nico Derrick Henry bucket. This is one of my most popular starts this season.
Okay. I like it. I'm glad to get some exposure to it as well, because those are two grown ass men just going burr.
I think what I might try to do a little bit more, and maybe when there's another puppy or something along those lines, is I didn't quite think about the fact that, like, Nico and Lad are a week 17 stack, and you can take Lad at that turn with Nico. And I know I don't think it's totally ideal to reach just for a week 17 stack, but those are two very, strong wide receiver ones. Might not be a bad, at worst it's just simply fun to do a Nico Lad start, and have that week 17 correlation with those two.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout, man. That might be becoming kind of like the sharper flavor of the week when, ADPs are more solidified and people are looking for, we've talked at nauseum about like the whole uniqueness angle being like overblown, because you're getting one combination of it in like a 670,000 person contest. But like, it is just cool to give yourself that out and not build something that's the exact same over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's an intelligent way to do so, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. No, good shout from you there. Nez, as you can see, these lobbies look a little different when we're not on stream here. We're dealing with a bunch of non-badgers in here. We got some friends and family who came in to fill it out for us. We threw the bat signal out at 8 spots left, and then I am imagining these individuals all in the middle here, Gut Pete, Crutches, and Bound, were the guys who helped us fill it out there once we threw that bat signal out. So it's just interesting to note that man, there are some recreational style players in these lobbies, even midday on a Thursday here.
Yeah, it's the benefit of these small max entry contests is you get more unique faces in your lobbies, especially when you're not streaming. So that's a blessing.
Breece Hall's moving to the left side of the board now. Trying to see nothing too crazy as of yet. The Lad conversation that you just had, he went above AJ Brown, which is interesting, like just in general.
Tyreek going at 1-2 is starting to become way more solidified. I think he could potentially make his way to the middle of the second as summer goes along.
I mean, he's been a first round pick forever, right? And then he had one bad year last year when he's hurt, and then he has that pregame arrest thing and all this kind of like weird stuff surrounding the team. Tua is also injured throughout it. And then if you click on his box scores, it wasn't even that terrible, right? And he's still flexing on dudes, racing guys and showing how effing fast he is still. So
it's hard not to like get sucked into that, right? And just think that that's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, from a week to week ceiling. We get a little bit of fall on Terry here. Not a guy that we typically take all that much, but could set up a Jaden Daniels with Terry. We could also do Kyren.
Terry or Kyren?
Let's do Terry and see if Kyren comes back. We take Kyren. If Kyren does not come back, we then do the Jaden Daniels stack on the right-hand side of the board.
Yeah, I think I'm game for that. But, oh, man, we'll see. We'll see what this guy does.
Give us Kyren one time. Yes. He takes Jaden Daniels. He takes Daniels. There we go. Here we go. Now we got let's do this.
Lucky for him, dude. He didn't know that we were actually rooting for that.
Yeah, he just thought he was like, I'm gonna snipe these guys on stream. I'm gonna ruin
Uh-huh.
their draft.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna have a unique Terry because it seems like Terry's stacked often. So there we go, little
right, yeah,
uniqueness there.
and rightfully so, I guess. I mean, he is a big touchdown regression candidate relative to the opportunities last year. People keep citing him and Mark Andrews as the two guys who overachieved in the high variance of touchdown scoring based on opportunity share last year. So
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe yeah, with Debo Samuel coming there, and
It just makes
people
me, it irks me. It irks me, John.
right,
I don't like it because like Terry has been a positive regression candidate for like his entire career. And
right.
then he hits, and now we're like, no, he has to go back to the old ways of Terry. I don't know. This
That's
is the
true.
best quarterback he's ever had. You
Yeah,
know, this
elongate the
is
sample.
exactly. I just think, yeah. I would I bet somebody straight up Terry McLaurin is gonna do the same output of last year, touchdown wise? No, no,
Right,
not no way.
no
But
chance.
no, but I think Terry is very obviously a really good wide receiver, and Jaden, Jesus, sorry,
We got it.
and Jaden Daniels is obviously a really good quarterback.
Yep.
I don't know. Let's run it back.
Let's run it back, see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking through just like that offense in general, like in the back of my head there, as that going, like, Cliff loves Ertz, obviously. And then there is the fact that they brought in Debo this year as a potential, red zone weapon, both on the ground and through the air there for some of that gadgety stuff. But the
Hmm.
other one that people keep citing is that Noah Brown was actually running, prior to getting hurt, was actually running more routes and earning more targets than Terry was prior to the injury. And that's the one where I'm like, now we're looking for narratives. That's a little bridge too far for me, but that gets me a little excited as like a back end Noah Brown drafter. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can do that. There's so many. I got other crushes in the back end that I could take.
ETR has him up at 187. His ADP
Ooh.
is 215.3.
In every draft guy. All right. Professional
Yeah.
ass wide receiver.
Professional ass wide receiver is true, my friend. If memory serves, he's a pretty good blocker too. I remember that being like a calling card early, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe it. He has dog qualities.
Pretend we know ball, like, oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was pancaking dudes all over the place. Yeah.
There is some discrepancy in how routes are, labeled. So maybe that was why.
Ned's here. Alave is popping in the hashtag model here. Roma Doomsday. We could do Kamara and shut it down for a bit. Addison, who do you like?
I like Rome, I think.
Let's do it. I'm cool with that one. No,
Anytime I have the chance to get you to not take Olave.
no screaming correlation thus far here for us yet. But if Olave comes back here, we might end up with him anyways, because it'd be fun to pair one of there he goes. But it'd be fun to pair one of these rookie running backs, but we spent a bunch of capital and we got that Kyron fall. I think we got to keep pissing here and take some of these other wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm cool with Addison or Godwin.
Let's do Godwin. I'm a little scared about the Addison suspension. I guess I should be. If I'm scared about the Addison suspension, I guess maybe I should be more scared about the health situation of Chris Godwin and missing some of those early weeks. And
I mean, there's no correlation there. I mean, it's
yeah.
I don't think that Chris Godwin's going to miss any weeks. I just, I think the craziest Chris Godwin stat, John, half point PPR.
Yep.
Chris Godwin or Chris Olave. I apologize. I'm talking about Chris Olave. I guess, yeah, the Chris Godwin ankle, of course. Yes, there is risk there. Let me backtrack. But your boy, Chris Olave, has never scored 20 points on underdogfantasy.com.
Wow, that's so heartbreaking.
Not
Taysom used
once.
to do that for breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. I hate to, bring that to your attention, but it's the truth.
This is a sobering moment. This is a sobering moment for me, man.
I couldn't believe it either when I first heard it. And then, my guy, Jameson Williams, he did that 4 times last year.
He topped 20 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, because I remember hearing an arbitrary benchmark number thrown out on a stream that he had never topped like 25. But then now that you say 20, oh, he's done it 4 times in a season. Like
Dude,
that's
he did that in 25% of his games. Jameson
right.
Williams.
Yeah, after the suspension last year. Wow. Okay. I see you. Damn.
I know, but things could change, I suppose. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Get this dude out of New Orleans.
Tyler Shuck is gonna be the guy that changes it all, baby.
Oh, if it's not Shuck, then I don't know what's going on in New Orleans, man. I don't.
You know what is one crazy thing though? Like once upon a time, I know he looked bad last year and he looked bad in the
Oh
primetime
yeah,
game. Once upon a time, Spencer Radler was QB1. Like
yeah.
once upon a time, he was QB1. He was supposed to go 101 in the draft before transferring. Like, yeah.
You thinking he's like on his like Chuba Hubbard arc?
Oh, great comp. People forget that Chuba was going to be RB1 and then got injured. Great
Yeah,
comp.
that'd be wild.
Honestly, Nez, as comp guy, and like 2 shows ago on this Solver series, you became Galbrain guy, and I was very proud of you. And then I was very threatened. My job security was very threatened by that move. And then now becoming comp guy too. I'm losing my shtick out here to my own co-host.
Well, John, you could always become a Steelers fan.
Just full flip branding.
Yep. Could tell me why Jonnu Smith is actually a better pick now than he was in Miami.
Ooh, okay. Here you go, Galbrain on that. Nez, I'm taking a look at our playoff widget here to see if anything is coming up that stands out to us. Mooney with a little bit of 17 correlation. I like this Jayden Reed fall.
Ooh.
I also really like Pollard. Dude, I think we should take Pollard here.
You don't think he'll come back? Because Jayden Reed, I
Yeah.
don't think will. All right, go ahead. Take Pollard.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why I think we should take Pollard here instead of Jayden Reed. It's because we got a pretty nice fall on all 3 of these wide receivers, and we're going to get at least one of them with our next pick. But if we don't take Pollard, the drop off to like Brian Robinson, even though there is a little correlation,
Yeah.
it isn't worth it for me. Now,
Okay.
like now it's like, okay, he takes like probably the 2 targets that I would have preferred, but we still end up with the consolation prize as a tier break Mooney with some 17 correlation.
Yeah, everything about that range there was a tier break. For me, it would
Yeah.
be I like Mooney. My only other option would be Hawkinson,
Right.
but I
Okay.
prefer Mooney for sure.
Okay, cool. Let's take a look at how we're doing draft capital wise. Obviously, we're going to be playing catch up at the onesies position. Nice to note that we basically have stacking partners for all of these guys still available, including Kyron and Tony Pollard. So outside of Terry and Henry, we got stacking partners available everywhere. Our allotment of capital looks pretty heavy right now in those middle positions because we haven't touched the onesies quite yet. But I think I believe in us to land the plane here, Nez.
No, I love this, man. I'm gonna have so much Tony Pollard this season because of like what you mentioned there. He's such a tier break. Like after him, you get to, Brian Robinson, who like, man, I just don't really want any part of Brian Robinson, and then after that, now you're getting into like the sexy RB2s and the ambiguous backfields on questionable offenses, where Tony Pollard's on an ascending offense with a QB1 overall, another year healthier off the ankle, and he looked kind of decent last year coming off that. Yeah, I'm excited about Tony Pollard, man.
Yeah, do you think there's any potential bear case for like Cam Ward? He wasn't like a huge rusher in college, but he was like a good rusher in college. Like, you know what I mean? Like that distinction. Any chance that he takes away like, some of those goal line touches or something like that?
I don't think that's like expected to be his game.
Okay.
From my understanding.
Okay. Cool.
I think he's just way more of just like, maybe chunk play is the wrong word, but like, deep ball guy that can like connect for big plays and keep drives going in an exciting fashion and putting them in positions to, to score way more than they've seen last year, or, years and years prior to that. So,
Yeah.
I just like the upside bet on the offense too, and sort of gives you an out for Cam Ward as well. Like if you want to just like double down on Pollard and the team bet, Cam Ward's such an awesome backstack.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. I have a crazy comp in my mind, but I'm going to save it till we do these picks here. Bo Nix routinely falling in rooms these days. I think you're an enjoyer of that. I would throw out potentially doing like Evan Ingram and then taking either Nix or Caleb on the way back. I would throw out Mark Andrews for the Henry correlation.
Let's do Ingram.
Let's do Ingram? Okay.
Yeah.
It gives us an out. We do take a lot of Mark Andrews. If that positive touchdown regression, or negative touchdown regression goes the other way and likely's more of the truth and the fall off that we saw at the front end of last year is actually real, then yeah, Evan Ingram feels like slightly better bet here.
I like middling that because we don't get a lot of Bo Nix, and I think this is like a good opportunity to do so. The other thing that we could have done is like done like a burden with Caleb, but I think this is like a good opportunity to grab a Bo Nix share.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you like Bo Nix more, even though we have Rome here.
Yeah, just because I mean, I don't know about you. I don't get a lot of Bo Nix, and I think 10 picks past ADP stacked with Ingram is a good opportunity to do so. It's not like I don't think he has fun range of outcomes. It's just typically taking guys behind him.
Yeah, I think that was a good lesson in the ball knowers or in the draft knowers right there to manage that corner intelligently by going Ingram first. Because maybe the guy on the end would have liked Ingram more than Andrews, and then we have unstacked Bo Nix, even though he's the ADP faller. We gave ourselves outs for that pick on the end there by going Ingram first, and then being like, okay, Nix or Caleb will be the next pick for us. So we've managed this corner pretty well back to back, in my estimation. There, Nez.
Yeah, no, I like it, and I think this is probably a 3 QB team, and we've got options for that. I imagine we'd take a QB at 11 or 12 also, but we'll see. We'll see what comes back here. I like how this team is turning out, though. I love the wide receiver room right now, and and the fact that like our running backs are so damn solid as well. Man, I really like this team.
Yeah, it feels pretty balanced thus far. I'm curious to see draft capital wise what that did for us at quarterback. So vaulted to 4%. And 4% at the tight end there. So just curious, progressively learning how the draft capital allotment tool weights things as we go here. So that's a falling Bo Nix in 10, and then Evan Ingram, tight end 8, 9, something like that in round 9. And that's about 4%. So that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I really prefer drafting the way we are right now. Like I love money balling the onesie positions. I just think it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. You ready for the Galbrain usage?
Yes, please.
Brian Robinson and Jaden Daniels are the poverty poor man's version. Lamar, Derrick Henry.
I mean, and you even have Austin Eckler there as your little
Justice Hill. The one thing that fucks it up is Debo. But like it's interesting because Brian Robinson, when I was going back and looking, because I'm low-key out on him too. Love the story, like love the way he runs, but I'm like in my mind.
You love that he got shot?
He's a plotter. I love it. Awesome.
You like
for the brand? For the brand? Maybe I should get shot. Get some views going around here. Mims comes back to us, kind of lines up perfectly. Tajay is probably a bad pick for us because we have Tennessee going. CJ Stroud could be that as well.
Yeah, Stroud or Ray Davis or Benson. I think we take a run.
Oh fuck! I had Mims in the queue first.
That's all right. It stacks. It's all right.
Okay. I was putting them all in the queue and then we got timed out there. That's my bad at hosting for not talking about it sooner prior to the pick because
That's
we
I
can.
mean, there's worse picks that you can make than stacking, you know, Knicks with Mims. I do worry about Mims. Okay. Yeah, Penix might not make it back if you wanted to do that.
Yeah,
Stroud stacks with Nico. What do you think?
I think we do the CJ thing. I think
Okay.
like the what do you win when you get left out at quarterback here is kind of like we already only want 3 quarterbacks on this team, or we already want 3 quarterbacks on this team. If we
Yeah.
make them 3 worse quarterbacks, it's going to feel even grosser, right? So I think making such a big bet on Nico in the first round that we should just double down that notion with CJ.
Okay. Yeah, I love just like finding a reason to get Michael Penix, but yeah, Stroud I think was more of a priority, obviously with ADP and having Nico's draft capital
If
stack makes sense.
if Penix comes back, like I would definitely do it. And I think at that point, I would do the Kyle Pitts with it as well with Evan Ingram
For sure.
and just play post hype, guys who never scored touchdowns finally start scoring touchdowns narrative with Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, too easy.
These guys have been living off draft capital for 10 years.
Man, Evan Ingram is. I'm glad that we got him. I don't have a lot of him either. Obviously, had good fantasy seasons in Jacksonville, even though like in real life it was sort of, you know, not deemed bad, deemed inefficient. But
Yeah.
what do you think, man? You know, Bo Nix year 2. We've got Sean Payton, you know, another year tenured in Denver. It seems like he's kind of like coming into his own here.
Yeah.
Like Denver might be kind of like a little bit of a wagon. I mean, I know the ETR guys think that their defense is going to be top in the league.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like they're a good, complete football team. How fun they'll be for fantasy, time will tell. I think the knock on Evan Ingram has always been a little bit of a volume merchant. Like he's a little bit of a results merchant in terms of like the catch totals and stuff like that. And he just does not find the end zone, like period. And is that a skill set? Is that variance? I don't know. Is that schemed issues? If they all of a sudden start giving like dial back the clock here, Sean Payton goes, yo, this guy's athletic. We can give him a little bit of that Jimmy Graham red zone treatment right now. He scores, 7, 8 touchdowns instead of the 3 or 4 we've grown accustomed to. Then all of a sudden he finishes as tight end 6, right? And then it's a good play.
How about this for a double dark horse Super Bowl prediction that you did not ask for, nobody asked for? Broncos, while we're on the topic, Broncos make the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And they're facing off against Baker doubles.
Wow. I mean, that's like the darkest of dark horses. Like that is thousands and thousands to one right there. But yeah, I don't know. Like, but both offenses could go burr. One, we're looking for the step to be taken forward. The other one, we're just looking for it to stay what it was last year and could even be better with second year Bucky and Igbuka added to it. So yeah, I think winning the NFC South is a nice starting point to making the playoffs, and you can do so without your defense being good at all. But
right,
yeah, their defense might just be total dust. Dude, Jadon Blue feels like the absolute guy you tack on to a running back room like this.
Yeah, no, very well said. That's the ultimate dice roll of Blue here.
Yeah. In retrospect, Nez, the Marvin Mims was obviously a mistake right there. But if we didn't get Mims and we went with the Penix and we pulled Penix up and did the 3 quarterback, then you take Pat Bryant here.
Yeah, what do you think instead? I mean, I don't mind taking him here, but I also don't mind Tank Bigsby here or Cam Ward. We want to do that third QB and
let's do the Cam Ward.
Him.
Yeah, good shout. We got Tony Redacted already on the team. We take another rookie shot at quarterback there. We shore up that capital bucket. We're probably only going to take one more running back on this team because we're so front end heavy weighted. We're going to take 3 tight ends. That opens the door to a Chig potential tight end add as well. We could also do like Dalton Schultz or something like that here.
Yeah.
We could get stack happy with this. This is like something that we've talked about as like the tool is a best ball assistant, right? We still have to do the thinking for it,
Yeah.
and it will always tell you on the clock the correlated piece is going to be kind of like the best, or the falling ADP is the best at this moment in time. Whereas you and I can put the pieces together and forecast what our roster might look like in the future, so we can reach now to correlate later, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's very well said. Like it's not going to be able to do that for you. You
Right.
still have to, think critically and reverse engineer and get your reps in, ultimately at the end of the day, for sure. I mean, and I pretty much know what this team's going to look like, I think, at this point.
Ooh. Well, seeing as though we are not on stream, we are just doing this behind closed doors, Des. I think you can permission to speak freely here. How do you feel it's gonna the plane's gonna get landed?
So we definitely are going to do one more running back. I think this is going to be 3-5-7-3. We do one more running back,
Uh
and
huh.
that can really be anybody.
Okay.
We
I
have
think
some options.
you're thinking of a name, dude. I know you. We're slappies right now. I think I know who you're thinking of, and it's gonna be like the third stream in a row.
Who?
Slippy, Slapsy, Samsonite. It's gonna be
Oh,
Samson, baby. That
okay.
it's gonna be Samson.
I was thinking like Jarquez Hunter. I've been like
Ooh. Okay.
snagging him up, but I'm
He's
cool. I'm cool with Samson.
Hunter, Kyron Handcuff, same team.
Oh, we do have Kyron.
Yeah,
Okay,
we got the
so yeah,
Kyron fall. Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you on that. But Chig for sure on this team,
Yep.
and maybe a wide receiver from Tennessee as well, perhaps.
Wide receiver from Tennessee as well. What do you think
So
about Rico to close out the running back room?
yeah, I like Rico.
Then we don't have to take like that shot on the rookie ceiling stuff. It's interesting. So what Nez and I just alluded to, how like the correlation will pop based on a selection or whatever. Look at this. Zach Ertz as number one, Chig, Dalton Schultz. And we both said those two names like as soon as we made the previous pick, right?
Mhm.
Where we forecasted this, right? Instead of going with the actuality of right then and there. I like it, dude. Let's go with Chig.
Yeah, just take it right here. He won't come back. So,
Yeah, let's do it. So
yeah, I
Chig and
think wide
Ingram there.
receiver and tight end after this.
Yeah, that's how I would land it as well. I think getting that Rico pick, I don't know what it is about Rico. Maybe it's just the fact that we saw it last year. Maybe it's the fact that we saw a Carolina second string running back or second string in parentheses become the dude last year and earn a contract and kind of take over. That in our minds, or in my mind, I'm like, oh, Rico could do that if he was given the opportunity, kind of thing. There is something that feels like comfier about like Rico added to this than like Samson, but it
Yeah.
it also doesn't have the same mystery box feeling appeal.
Mm-hmm. No,
Yeah.
I fully agree, but I think Rico Dowdle pick 179
Yeah.
is great. We don't know what his role will be in the offense while Chuba is healthy, but I think he's a pretty clear cut handcuff if Chuba were to go down. Obviously Trevor Etienne, a rookie, we don't know what his workload will be or can be in the event that he's thrust into opportunity. But I think there's a reason Rico goes first. Obviously, he's going to get first crack at that role if he's able to, if contingency hits for him. So yeah, he's like a very cheap contingency RB in an offense that I think is ascending. So yeah, I like Rico a lot there, man.
Nice. Great shouts, man. I've queued up a couple. Dalton Schultz has been a 10 out of 10 in terms of best available. I went ahead and I docked running back and quarterback because we have 3 and 5. I think we're done there after the Rico fall. So I do think it is going to be tight end. And I'm going to ask the question as, are you for tight end curious on this roster?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Nope. Thanks
me
for
neither.
asking. Nope.
Not with Evan Ingram. Not with Evan Ingram.
No.
But
No.
yeah.
If Chig was tight end 1, then yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be very curious.
Okay. Yeah. That checks out there. I'm trying to think of some Galbrain stacking partners or something like that. Like obviously the Cam Ward stuff's easy, like Lockett's always there and that sort of deal.
Well, it depends on like what kind of Galbrain stuff, like Troy Franklin.
Yeah, with Mims, I don't love it with Evan Ingram and Mims. I'm thinking, yeah, who else do you like? Sanders goes there, so we get Schultz to come back. That's who we wanted anyways there. 3 separate tight ends, no stacked bye weeks. I'm going to milk the clock a little bit so we can think through this next one. And I'll go ahead and dock tight end after this. Take the tight ends off the screen and land this plane with a wide receiver here.
Do you want to do a Titan?
I did the wrong thing there. Yeah, Titan feels fine.
So you can do Alick, Lockett. I'm cool with Dusty Lockett, but if you'd rather do the rookie, we can.
Dude, what about our guy Naylor? Oh, that wasn't our guy.
Ty Felton.
Ty Felton was our guy.
Yeah. Oh, you tried.
Oh, I got the wrong one. Okay. I got lost in the sauce there.
No, I like Io Manor.
How do you say his name?
Cool. I think Io Manor. I'm pretty sure.
Io Manor.
I think it's like a Spanish pronunciation, like Alick. That's how I say it. It makes the most sense for me that way.
Dude, that's like, this is gonna be our new Luis Robert Jr. I like Lomo. I like more.
You're gonna force me to look this up.
No, don't look it up.
Dude, did you? I can't believe you didn't know this.
What? He's Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're so in. Good Canadian kid.
Wow.
That's awesome.
He's from Medicine Hat.
Oh my God, good Medicine Hat Tiger? Are you kidding me? I can snap it around with the best of them.
Oh my God. This is it. He's our guy now, officially.
This is crazy. This was great stuff to learn right now. Actually played last weekend with a couple guys who played in Medicine Hat who were really nice with it. Young kids that are defensemen now, but they flamed out in the East Coast League, my friend.
That's awesome.
Tried to make it big time. Really good golfers now, though. All right, Nez, I'm going to go for the draft report here. It is automatically populated here. That's why you guys could see my screen bouncing around a little bit on the side there. I am going to pop over to another window so that I can drag and drop the report for everybody. And we could take a look at what this solver report is, courtesy of the draft assistant here and the Best Ball Explorer. Okay, we'll zoom it in here, Nez. Not bad. We are condensed around some of these top offenses. The Houston Texans here, which have O-line problems and have changing OC issues, and who knows if we're going to be good or not this year. But I feel quite confident that the Baltimore Ravens will be good, and we made a concerted bet on them in terms of draft capital. And then I think Washington, the Rams, and Denver, we talked about Denver at the price point in which we got them, should be pretty good. So we need the Texans to be a little bit better than last year for this team to fully go burr. But we got ourselves a 3-5-7-3. A lot of threes at the onesies this year for us, even given, like, look at the low capital spent, but we're spending 3. So it kind of mitigates that. Bo Nix at a nice ADP value. CJ Stroud, Cam Ward, Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, Jadon Blue, Rico Dowdle on a nice fall there. Tons of ADP value in this running back room. Look at that, 16.9 to go alongside Derrick Henry and Kyron Williams at the start there. That feels pretty nice, man. Wide receiver room, Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin was a faller. Roma Doomsday gave us a stacking out there. I think Chris Olave might have been the dude there, but Nez has informed me that he has never scored more than 20 half PPR points before. Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney, Marvin Mims, Alec Amonora. Is that how you say it?
Io Manor. Io Manor.
Io Manor. Io Manor, good Canadian kid from Medicine Hat. Evan Ingram, Chiga Kongwu, and Dalton Schultz, a little bit of 17 correlation, but not crazy correlated. A little
No.
bit of that Rams and Falcons game that we like there. A little bit of that Dallas and Washington game, but no crazy onslaught stacks here. Nez, thoughts on this? Thoughts on this team?
Yeah, I mean the playoff correlation didn't really come through, which is kind of usually we get there, but I think we were more focused on just putting together a really good team instead, which we did. Man, this team I think is really good. I'm really excited about this team. Mims and Io Manor, obviously like some big time, upside swings there at the end. But whenever you start off with how we did start off, I think you can like afford to do stuff like that. All three tight ends stacked up. I mean, I don't have any issues with this team.
Yeah, this team on the Sucks or Fucks scale definitely falling into the side of the Bucks bracket. But yeah, I mean, what really opened the door to do this is the strength of the running back room, and we didn't even overspend in terms of capital to get it done. We just encapsulated a couple fallers with a rookie tacked on to Kyron and Derrick Henry. And I want to pat us on the back here, Nez, for our drafting skills that were demonstrated alongside the draft assistant here, because I'm thinking back to bringing up the board here. I'm thinking back to what really made this team is this Kyron pick right here, which is, a faller in parentheses, this Tony Pollard pick right here, and then these two Broncos picks put together right there. And I want to give us a pat on the back for recognizing in the moment that, hey, if you do the Tony Pollard first, you're going to get one of these three wide receivers coming back. If you do the Terry first, you're going to give yourself at the out at either Jaden Daniels or Kyron next, because he's probably not going to take both after the Achane pick there. And then giving ourselves the out at Bo Nix instead of Caleb Williams here on the fall, because we take Evan Ingram first instead of Mark Andrews or taking Bo Nix first. So I think that was some pretty sharp drafting in tandem with the tools.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Really happy with this team.
Yeah, I love pumping our own tires as we go out the door here.
It's just what we do. It's what we do. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think we were goats at it.
Oh, man. All right, Nez, let's send some love to the good people at the Solver. There's a link in the bio below if you guys want to get access to both the Best Ball Draft Assistant there and then the Best Ball Explorer tool, both there as part of their package. Still too cheap. I keep telling the people, still too cheap, especially if you were playing under that $100 entry fee stake limit there. Obviously, the tiered pricing relative to your entries, which is a good bankroll management tactic associated with the payment scale. There, mad respect for them rolling it out in that capacity. Thanks for allowing this to take place, the good people at the Solver. Any parting words for the people, Nez?
No, thanks guys for checking this out, and good luck beating this team in the Pitbull, guys.
Good luck, nerds. All right, everybody's favorite time on the show, the end. Peace.